With the HBO series coming out, there are a few things I am desperate that the series include that the movies just missed out on. These are some of the biggest changes in the series, and the ones that change characters or totally left them out altogether. I could make 100 videos like this with all the things that I hope the HBO series includes, and I will make more videos like this of just other things that I think are important, but here are maybe the most important additions that I would like to see the series have. Number 10, a book-accurate Dumbledore. People who listen to my podcast know my absolute disdain for the way that Gambon portrayed Dumbledore. Harris was a smidge better, but a bit too frail. And I think Dumbledore is arguably the most important person in these films and in these books other than Harry himself. And this is to movie fans only because anyone who has read the book shares in my frustration, maybe not to this extent, but Dumbledore is totally different in the books compared to the movies. I honestly think Jude Law portrayed him pretty well in the Fantastic Beasts series, but whoever plays this role in this series needs to have all the attributes that book Dumbledore has that the movie left out. Kindness, goofiness, awe, love, a bridled and at bay anger, confidence, and an absolute command of any room that he's in. Number 9, the backstory on Voldemort. Book 6 was one of the worst adaptations of the book to the movies, although I still love the film in all honesty, but the biggest thing that was left out was Voldemort's full backstory. Not that we really need to get to know what a psychopath is like behind the scenes, but it just feels so important in the books. The writing doesn't feel like it's there to create any sympathy for the reader for the character of Voldemort, but the information that we get tells us why Voldemort is the way he is and what really made him like that. There are countless chapters where they dive into the memories and find out disturbing facts about Voldemort that end up helping Harry defeat him in the end. And that feels very necessary to me. Number 8. Speaking of missing chapters, I want to see all the missing chapters in the series. There are a lot of them, but chapters like the Death Day Party or the Other Minister, or even my least favorite chapter in the entire series, Grump. There are so many good chapters that were so disappointing when we see them on film. I personally want the closed ward chapter for St. Mungo's where Harry, Ron, and Hermione meet Neville at St. Mungo's where he is visiting his parents, because Neville is one of my favorite characters and that chapter is the reason why. Another one is Creature's full story because his story is absolutely tragic and gives so much important information for the final book that it's blasphemous that they removed it from the films. HBO, you can do better. Number 7, Peeves. Movie-only fans have no idea who this is, and honestly, it took me years to figure out what a poltergeist really is. Please don't ask because I can't really explain it all that well, but Peeves is a ghost-like creature who wreaks havoc in the castle and is a bit of comedy and levity to the series. He's supposed to be a being that was produced from the collective energy of the students, and he is as mischievous as he is annoying. It's an extra bit, but he's just a fun character that I would love to see added to the series. Number 6, the correct challenges in the maze and pretty much the entire Triwizard Tournament done correctly. Maybe this is an oddly specific one, but I remember the third challenge being one of my favorites in the entire series. And then in the movies, I was so hyped when Dumbledore said this line.
You see, people change in the maze.
And then nothing for what he said actually ever happened. No one changed and nothing happened in the maze. It was just a bit windy and overgrown. In the books, Harry deals with Dementors, blast-ended Scroots, mysterious fog, and a Sphinx that gives him a riddle that he needs to answer in order to pass. It was fantastically adventurous and was such a letdown when the movies failed to include a book-accurate version of the maze. Number 5. We really need some character development for Ginny specifically. She is so cool in the books, but totally underwhelming in the films. Need I say more? And I have all the love in the world for Bonnie Wright. She is an amazing human and a great actress, but the lines they gave her in the movies. What is anyone going to do with that line? I want to see real progression of Ginny as a character, because in the books it happens in the background as Ginny just becomes cooler and cooler. And again, which is a testament to the therapy that they have at Hogwarts, with Ginny almost dying in her first year to becoming the coolest student at Hogwarts in her 5th year. That's amazing. But she is confident, one of the best Quidditch players we've ever seen in the series, and just a downright badass. Having a book accurate Ginny would make fans everywhere very happy. Number 4, the correct age of characters. This one is minute, and I actually am not going to be fully accurate on this one because Dumbledore in the books was around 110, and you can't really cast an actor who's that old and expect them to last another 10 years of filming. But I do want age-accurate depictions of James and Lily specifically, because they were 21 when they died, and seeing two 21-year-olds die like that would bring up even more horror than the movies let it out to be. James and Lily were way too young when they died. The same is true for seeing an accurate age for Snape, Lupin, Sirius, Tonks, and just a bunch of other characters. This might be a small one, but I think it's really important to see this in the series. Number 3. Speaking of characters, I really just want to see book-accurate characters. For everyone. But this one is specifically going to talk about the trio. In the books, Ron, Harry, and Hermione are all brilliant in their own way, and truly contribute to their end-of-year scuffles. In the movie, it's like Hermione has 99%, Harry has 1%, and Ron is just a body. But a lot of lines that Hermione has in the movies are really important and actually spoken by Ron. Ron is the character who gives Harry and Hermione backstories for what the wizarding world is really like. He's also lazy like the movies portray, but insanely loyal and fun and smart. And Rupert Grint is one of my favorite actors, especially out of the trio. I think he's the best. But the writers could have helped him even shine more. And I want to see smaller changes too, like making Harry sassier, because in the books he cannot stop with these one-liners. And Hermione, to start, a bit more annoying. They're small changes, but I think pretty important ones. Number 2, just normal school life. This might be a boring one, but just them living their lives at school would be fantastic. The movies do this okay, but I want more of the classes, of the jokes, of the meals, and everything included with the normal teenage life of the kids, because this will contrast with the darker stuff in the films and make that darker stuff even darker. And to be honest, one thing I loved in the series was being able to come back to these moments in the series after it got super heavy. I just want to spend a full chapter where they have dinner, or they play Quidditch, or they just want to be kids and try to have fun and live life. This is what I love so much about the 6th book as well. It just captures that perfectly, where Harry is learning how to defeat Voldemort and about how dark this man actually is, but still just wanting to live like a teenager and make out with Ginny and play Quidditch and have fun with his friends. So one thing that I really want the HBO series to do is just show a normal life of these teenagers. Just show all the boring things, but make them really, really entertaining, because I think that will be really important for fans. And number 1, the surrounding events of Voldemort's death. This is the biggest difference from the books to movies, in my opinion. The biggest of the differences being when Voldemort dies, he doesn't get Thanos snapped into dust. He dies like any other mortal human being. This is so important because it shows Voldemort to be like any other human. Also, I don't mind this change, but Harry does not snap the Elder Wand at the end. He mends his own wand and then readies himself to put it back in Dumbledore's grave. And then the location, I think, is also vital. Because at the end, in the books, Voldemort is sending curses flying everywhere, but they aren't landing on anyone. And as Harry and Voldemort have their final duel, they have it in the Great Hall, with everyone watching, where Harry explains that he did the same thing that his mother did. He protected all these people because he sacrificed his life for all of them. So because of Harry's love for all of these people, they cannot be touched. It's written so brilliantly in the books, and was just an absolute letdown in the movies. But we probably have like 10 years before we get to this in the HBO series, so hopefully one of the writers will watch this in the 10 years that follows and make the right changes. But what else do you think should be included in the series that the books missed out on? I am going to be making a video on some of the smaller changes that I'd love to see as well, but let me know what you think in the comments below. Like the video and make sure you subscribe if you want more Harry Potter nerdy content.